Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CapSource Receivership Investor Call. Today is September 3rd of 2025. It is approximately 1:01 p.m. Pacific Time. First off, I'd like to give my normal disclaimer that anything in this call that I say should not be construed as legal or accounting advice. If you have specific questions regarding either of those, we do recommend that you reach out to competent counsel to discuss those issues. And any reference to any party herein should be considered innocent until proven guilty. Nothing in here should be taken to say that somebody is guilty of any crime that they have not been convicted of. So we want to go through and talk a little bit about the questions that we've received over the last quarter, and a little bit about where we are in the case. So let's get into the questions first. So the first question, non-specific, is when do you expect to complete this process and why is it taking so long? The reason why things are taking as long as they are is because the assets that we have remaining in this case are the assets that are difficult to sell or to part with, and have some existing issues from prior to my involvement that we need to work through in order to get them done. We are in the process of closing 2 sales, and then we will have at that point 1 remaining asset that we still need to deal with, and that is the ARC loan. So we are working through those. We do hope to get those done as quickly as possible. Like I said, we are working on selling a couple of pieces of property in Texas, as well as the Fillmore property in North Dakota. We have gotten permission of the court to sell those, and so we're working through the sales process now. Investments. Will there be a chance of recovering any interest from my investment? The answer is likely no. In order to start paying out interest, we would have to get enough money back to pay everybody in full 100% of their principal amount before any interest could be paid. And it's unlikely that we will get to a point where interest will be paid on these. However, if that is to happen, we will reach out and discuss what that process looks like. Second question is, what are the recourse of us for the need to withdraw the required minimum distribution amounts from this account that has no real cash? So if you do have an investment in one of the 3 remaining properties and have not been paid out in that, and you have these required minimum distributions, you're going to need to talk to an accountant to discuss what options you have in those cases, since there aren't available funds due to the legal tie-up that is involved in this case. They can give you some advice as to what you should do moving forward. Next question has to do with Fillmore, and has that been sold? So the Fillmore property, we did get authorization to sell that property, and we are working with the buyer now to work through the issues that are on the property so that we can get it the property sold and the sale closed. Once that happens, those funds will be distributed to investors for 45 days after the end of the quarter in which the sale occurs. Questions about ARC. Is there any update on the sale of ARC? So we are still working with ARC in order to try to get these loans paid off. As investors in ARC know, we have not been receiving payments from ARC for about the last 4 or 5 months due to some insurance-related issues, and so we've been working through those with ARC and hope to start seeing regular payments on that. And we have been in discussions with ARC on ways to get the investors paid off in that property so that we can get this case closed once and for all. When is ARC option 3 going to be repaid? So that is that same question. Again, we have been, typically have been receiving monthly payments, and those have been distributed as part of the process. However, we have not yet picked up on those payments since the insurance issues earlier this year. Although we do hope to get that issue resolved, as well as a final settlement with ARC in order to get investors paid in full. The next question had to do with West Coast Income. West Coast Income is not a receivership entity, and we have no control over that entity, so we have no idea what the timetable looks like for payout there. If you have specific questions about that, I recommend that you would reach out to the West Coast Income funds themselves. Next has to do with just communication in general. People want to know what's going on with this case. Really, we have the 3 remaining assets in the case. I mean, it's a little more complicated than that, but it is essentially those 3 remaining assets that we need to deal with: the properties in Texas, the Fillmore property, and then the ARC properties. Everything else has been sold and closed. So we are working through those, and we do hope to get that done as quickly as we can. But if you want to make sure that you continue to receive information from us and emails, we do recommend that you reach out to us either via telephone, email, or on our website. The email address, if you want to reach out to us, which is our preferred method of contact, is contact@ contact@capsource-receivership.com. Again, that is contact@capsourcereceivership.com. You can also call the phone number 971-357-2220. Again, that's 971-357-2220. So that is the alternate way to contact us. If you have not already done so, we do recommend that you get on our website, which is capsource-receivership.com. And you can fill out a contact sheet there, and it'll make sure that we include you in any emails that we send out regarding the case. Again, that's capsource-receivership.com. And so those are the three ways that you can get in contact with us. It does look like we have some questions specifically about a couple of the properties. The first is how many investors are in ARC. I don't actually have that number off the top of my head, but but we can we can pull that information together. I believe that information is in our report. But if not, we can pull that, and I can have that available for the next call. And the next has to do with the status of Fifth Avenue Estates. Fifth Avenue Estates was sold, and the proceeds from the loan that was in the primary position were paid out pro rata based on the amount of available funds. The amount that we sold the property for did not exceed or did not cover the full debt that was on the property due to some issues related to that property specifically. And so that it was paid out as a portion. If you were in a second or third position on that loan, those were not paid out. However, we are looking at ways of alternative funding in order to try to get money back into the hands of the people that were in those second and third positions. Although we don't yet, have that available to us, but it is something that we are working on and hope to get that done as quickly as possible. So again, if you have any specific questions, I do recommend you reach out to our office via email, via telephone, or via the website. The information has been pasted in here in the group chat. But again, it's capsource-receivership.com is the website. The phone number, or the email address is contact@capsource-receivership.com, or the phone number is area code 971-357-2220. Thank you for joining us on this call, and please do reach out if you have any other questions. Thank you.